Hey, everybody, welcome back. Craig Schaup here with George Thomas, our film critic from the Akron Beacon Journal. George, it's been a couple of weeks. We're back at it. How have you been? Have you seen anything good?
Anything good? Yeah, actually, I have.
All right.
Actually, I
Well, we
have.
will. Yeah, we will talk about that here in a few minutes. It's obviously the big summer movie season is getting ready to kick off here. We're in May. We've had a lot of big box office successes so far this year. That trend will probably continue on. One movie, I'm not quite sure how to really take it. No, we missed it a couple of weeks ago, but Michael came out. I know that
We
you
didn't
reviewed
discuss
it.
Michael.
What's that? No, we
We
did
didn't,
not discuss Michael, did we? Oh, wait,
I,
did we?
I think we did.
Maybe we did. Okay. I'm trying to think back if we did. I know we have not gotten to Mortal Kombat and the Sheep Detectives, so we can get to those, but I couldn't remember if we got to Michael or not before vacation.
Yeah, we did because that's the
Okay.
last thing I reviewed before
That's
vacation.
right. That is right. Okay. Well, we'll move on then. So, Mortal Kombat 2. Let's start with Mortal Kombat 2. We get
Why?
a sequel. Why not? We want to try to punish the audience here a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I almost forgot that there was a Mortal Kombat 1 that came out. I mean, I know this is not the first iterations of the Mortal Kombat franchise, but 2021, the first one in this new franchise came out. I almost forgot that it existed until they said, "Hey, this is Mortal Kombat 2 5 years later." So, have they made any advances in this Mortal Kombat franchise in 5 years?
Oh, I love the look on your face and the way you framed that.
Yeah.
Hell no, they haven't.
Yeah.
This is a movie made for adolescents with video game fantasies of violence and stunted adults who like this kind of crap.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't mean to be insulting, but it's a movie in search of a narrative. Obviously, that is threadbare. The violence is over the top graphic, and the only redeeming factor here is basically Carl Urban, and
Yeah.
that is it. When I have to sit through a movie and watch a character's head get sliced into several sections,
Yeah.
it's beyond the pale for even me. And I've sat through some gory stuff in my life.
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
Well, and it kind of looks like it is just Carl Urban because I have no idea who any of these other people in this movie are. I have never I don't recognize a single name in this cast other than Carl Urban.
Makad Brooks was on Supergirl on the CW
Okay.
for 4 or 5 seasons.
Okay.
The rest of them, you're absolutely right. Now, I will give credit. If you look at the credits, there's an actor named Josh Lawson. I think he's Australian. And when he's on the screen, there's at least a little bit of fun to be had because he's in I don't give up mode. And he just goes over the top and has fun with it. But for the most part, the story of Carl Urban's character, a washed up action star being pulled into this fantasy land of realms, and he's the representative meant to fight for Earth Realm, is just patently over the top.
Yeah.
Get me the hell out of here. And they had high expectations for it because the sequel or the original did so well.
Yeah.
And it disappointed. You know what? I wouldn't say this often about a movie. I'm glad it disappointed at the box office. I mean, I'm so over. Just in 1 month, we've seen 2 video game movies, I think. And it's like, I don't have to see another video game movie for a while. One was made specifically for kids and forgot adults. The other one, which is this, the first one I'm talking about is Mario Brothers. The second one is this, which is seemingly for adults, but it's going to appeal to kids and teens, and it probably shouldn't. And it's like, no mas.
Yeah, the video game treatment. It seems like it's just really hard to mirror the success of those video games and the popularity of them onto the big screen. And I think maybe especially with Mortal Kombat. I mean, there's not really a lot of narrative in the video game itself, other than just it's a fighting, button smashing kind of game. So I think it probably struggles right away off the bat when you're trying to figure out a way to move this into a hour and 40, hour and 50, 2 hour film and try to have some semblance of a story behind it that people might care about, because there's no story to really begin with. I mean, Mario at least has a little bit of that, but again, that's kind of a flimsy premise. A Minecraft movie last year was very similar, where there's just not a lot there to really mine for a good narrative in a movie, and I think that's kind of what their problem is it not?
I mean, oh, absolutely. I googled offhand. It's like the top video game movies, and you know what? In my estimation, all these movies sucked. The closest we came to something I deemed worthy was probably Tomb Raider.
Okay, yeah, and that's been 20 some odd years.
Yeah, and I'm talking the first one.
Right, the Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, but beyond that, it's been a disaster.
Yeah.
With all due respect, and I realize there's an audience for these things, but oh my god, why for Mortal Kombat? Why? Just why? Other than money, I know why, but you know what I mean.
Well, and maybe the money won't quite be there this time around, so maybe this will put an end to the Mortal Kombat franchise, or at least for another 10, 15 years, and they decide to reboot it again or whatever. But yeah. Well, what was your final grade on Mortal Kombat? I mean, clearly you think it's a
C-.
Oscar contender. No Oscar contender this time, huh?
Oh no. No.
All right. Well, this next movie I was kind of intrigued by, because when we saw the trailer, I can't even remember what movie it was. I thought, man, divorce must be really expensive in Hollywood, because we've got Hugh Jackman in the Sheep Detectives. And I thought to myself, Hugh Jackman's a great actor. He's made a lot of money. And it kind of felt like this movie, really. But then I know that a lot of people have liked it. It maybe seems to have some of that Paddington charm about it. And I know that you liked it. So the Sheep Detectives, tell us why this works.
It works because, first of all, it's a family film that's made for the entire family.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the kid contingent are going to think the talking sheep are great.
Yeah.
But, it works on both levels. And it's a sweet, genuinely wholesome film with plenty of charm.
Yeah.
Plenty of charm. A great sense of humor. Much of it dry. And A-list voice talent.
Yeah.
And, it tells the story of George Hardy, Hugh Jackman, who is murdered. And, one of George's was the kind of sheep herder, or the shepherd, who raised sheep for their wool and nothing else.
Right.
Not for food, nothing else. And, he recognized that each member of his flock had a personality. And he would, when he brought them into the flock, whether they were birthed there or he bought them, he would look them into their eyes and name them. Mm-hmm. So you've got all these sheep running around, individual names. He knows them all. As a kid, it's very relatable.
Yeah.
Because here's an adult man not afraid to express his affection for these animals.
Right.
One thing he did for those sheep is read murder mysteries to them. Now, when George turns up murdered, the sheep take it upon themselves, led by Ellie, I think the female sheep's name, voiced by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. She's considered the smartest. she takes it upon herself to work about solving George's murder. And in essence, they are basically now obviously people can't hear them speak. It's not that ridiculous, and I think that helps.
Yeah.
But the sheep helps to guide this inept local cop in this one. It's a one cop town in the investigation through assorted means, and it's just charming. It works. The voice acting, and it's pure acting from the likes of Bryan Cranston, Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Um, God, I love the guy. He's in Shrinking, and he is in Soccer.
Ted Lasso.
Yeah.
Brett Goldstein.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He plays dual roles as twin Rams. He's absolutely fantastic, and it's just an enjoyable movie. And to be honest with you, the animation is so good, and I'm sure it's CGI, that you're never really sure whether the sheep are real or fake. So kudos for that. By the end of it, I was thoroughly charmed. So, and when it comes to family films these days, I tend to be jaded because they tend to cater to one segment or the other.
Right. Yeah.
And that's disappointing.
Yeah. That sounds like a pleasant surprise. Again, like I said, when I saw the initial trailer, I thought, ooh, this looks like a cash grab for Hugh Jackman. And, it's good to hear that there's something out there for the family early on here in the summer movie season, because there's not really a lot other than, Mario right now for some of the animated fans. But good to see. What was your final grade for the Sheep Detectives?
I actually gave it a B+.
Okay. Wow. All right.
And well, you know what?
Yeah.
Go see it while it's still in theaters, because it's worth the price of admission. I know it's tough these days, but definitely worth it.
Fantastic. All right. Well, I know in addition to some of the theatrical releases we've had over the last couple of weeks, you've also caught up on some streaming. I know you have Widow's Bay, MIA, and The Punisher: One Last Kill. Tell us about these series, what people should maybe watch and what they should skip.
Well, let's start with The Punisher, because that debuted last night on Disney+.
Sure.
It's a one-off episode. And, The Punisher, and I don't know how familiar you are with the character. I'm only familiar with him as he's been presented on screen over the years. Thomas Jane played him in the first go around. But he in the MCU, you want to talk about shades of gray?
Yeah. I
mean, the shades aren't too different from black with the character. You know what I mean?
Right.
Frank Castle watched his wife and daughter get killed, and that's his origin story. And I'm sure that has an effect on any individual. I hope to never have to experience anything like that. But as a way of dealing with that, he turns into life of revenge, becomes his vigilante, and he's been in and out of the Marvel television universe for close to 10 years now. The Punisher series debuted in 2017, I think. And, kind of this episode kind of goes back to ask the fundamental question. Why, what is Frank Castle's purpose? What is it? Beyond battling bad guys, helping to battle bad guys like Kingpin. And we meet him when he's on the verge of a mental collapse. He's got voices talking to him. He's got voices from his Marine days. He's got voices from his far past, his near past. His daughter talks to him. All of this stuff. And he, at the beginning of this thing, he is dealing with all that, has decided to pack it away, be done with it. He packs up his weapons because he doesn't think he has a purpose anymore. He packs up his weapon. He goes to his wife and his daughter's graves, sits there, puts a 45 or 9 millimeter to his chin, and is ready to commit suicide. Has another hallucination, vision, whatever you want to call it, and all of a sudden he can't do it. Course of returning to his apartment, he's met by someone from his past, and this person is legitimate. It's the matriarch of a mob family that he took out, and she's focused her revenge on him. It's a case of just when I get out, they pull me back in. Well, she's basically pulling him back in because she places a bounty on his head, and he lives in what I assume is Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah,
because of his affiliation with Daredevil over the years, and that brings out every scumbag in that neighborhood looking to collect that bounty. And in the midst of doing battle, trying to get out of the situation he's in, because she's made his location named and known and everything, he has to fight his way out. It's gory, shock.
Yeah.
But unlike Mortal Kombat, something like Mortal Kombat 2, it's violence in service of a story.
Right.
And a lot of people are going to have problems with this. To a certain degree, I did, because at his heart, even though he's a vigilante, Frank Castle is also a murderer.
Right.
I mean, he's judge, jury, and executioner. So if you have any kind of moral compass, you're going to question that. And ultimately, he finds his purpose. Needless to say, the purpose sets up being, and it's no secret, I can reveal this, because he's going to be in Spider-Man Brand New Day this summer.
Yeah.
So you can tell what he decides his purpose is. The best part about it is John Bernthal's acting. I mean, dude's intense, man. He's intense. You love the intensity on this guy.
Yeah.
And in this case, he looks intense and lost, which is a dangerous combination for Frank Castle. I gave it a B. I enjoyed it. Will I go back and watch it again? We'll see. It's a 48-minute watch, and like I said, it's billed as a special, so it's a one-off. I don't know if they're setting up another series or they're setting up his entree into the MCU. So there we go.
Yeah, and you mentioned John Bernthal. I mean, he's one of those really fine character actors out there. He's kind of a chameleon, but you notice him on screen, but he just kind of blends in with a lot of things, from Wolf of Wall Street or Ford versus Ferrari. I mean, Baby Driver. This is a guy that, really has a good screen presence. He'll be in The Odyssey a little bit later on this year. So this is a guy that really a lot of gravitas to this, role, inhabiting an MCU character. And it's great when they're able to, get great actors like this to kind of come in and play these roles, because when they play him serious, it really adds to that heft to that character. So it's good to see John Bernthal, get some opportunities to kind of carry projects. And, I know he's maybe one of those guys that's had a chance to in the past, but, I think he likes kind of playing on the fringes a little bit, and he does it so well.
Oh yeah. And, you're going to see him in The Bear again. You're going to see him in you're going to see him in Spider-Man. What else? I mean, he probably now has a franchise with The Accountant.
Yeah.
Because that was The Accountant 2 was set up for a sequel. So there you go.
Right.
But first and foremost, he's just a damn good actor.
Yeah. Always good to start off strong like that. And we'll see. Obviously, I think, this is probably one of those where it could get a character spinoff into a show. I don't think they're going to be a lot of standalone Punisher movies moving forward. Obviously, we've had 3 total, with the 2 from Thomas Jane, and then the Ray Stevenson one from 2008 was, kind of a, kick off to another franchise that never really materialized. But I don't know. Maybe this character doesn't need to be in the film on its own. Like maybe a good secondary character, maybe sort of a little bit of an antagonist, or just in a series.
And so you're right, because you know how many Marvel characters actually espouse that ethos where they're judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
I think that I know of, I think he's the only one. He would be at odds with 99.9% of
Right. Yeah.
most Marvel characters. So there you go. At least
Probably
at least the ones who have appeared on screen in the MCU.
Yeah, and even just comic book superhero movies in general, with the exception of, I guess, the Zack Snyder verse. Well, Deadpool, and then the Zack Snyder verse Batman, where Ben Affleck killed everybody like when he fought. But that's about it. You're right, though. I mean, but it's a good little second character to have in a movie where, he's kind of that gray area. He doesn't necessarily have to be a rooting interest for everybody, but he's not exactly a bad guy. But character motivations matter, and Punisher is an interesting character, but maybe doesn't need to be its own movie franchise. It can kind of play off into the periphery of some of these other movies and add some weight to the movie as well. So any other, I know you have Widow's Bay and MIA. Which one do you want to talk about next?
Widow's Bay, because I don't like horror, but I like good supernatural stuff.
Yeah.
And now I'm wearing a Supernatural T-shirt right now from the TV series.
Yeah.
I followed that show religiously for 15 years because it walked a fine line between horror and just being, it was damn scary. Widow's Bay is along the lines of Supernatural. It features Matthew Rhys, who got screwed out of a series when they canceled Perry Mason, as far as I'm concerned. He's a mayor of a small New England town, Widow's Bay, that has aspirations. He wants it to have aspiration of being something akin to Martha's Vineyard, drawing tourists and whatnot.
Sure.
But the town has this legacy and this history. And the history is of mysterious deaths, a sea hag, all sorts of things. And his character, Tom Loftus, blows this stuff off because he wants the tourist dollar. He wants it all. In the background, you get a character named Wick, played by Stephen Root. And you want to talk about an underappreciated actor.
Oh, yeah.
Stephen Root. Telling him not to play around with this stuff. And, I've gotten through 5 episodes. It's built to a slow burn. I think there are 10 episodes. And in getting to episode number 5, you can tell it's just about to get seriously amped up. And keep in mind, those first 5 episodes were creepy enough. Now comes the good stuff. And Matthew Rhys is great. Stephen Root is fantastic as always. There's a host of odd characters in this town that makes it worth enjoying. Let's call it Mayberry of the North. I don't know, but I definitely enjoyed Widow's Bay.
Okay. And then MIA on Peacock. Tell us about that one.
Why?
Because you have to. That's why you get paid the big bucks to watch good and bad things.
MIA, I wanted to like it, and I'll be honest. Anyone who finds this to be a guilty pleasure and diversion, I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out after 5 episodes because it tells the story of a young woman whose family owns a fishing charter business, or so she believes, and in South Florida. And she's angling to be part of the business, right? Her mother wants her off in college because she's got serious brainage. Well, her father disagrees and decides she's old enough to decide for herself. Well, it turns out the primary revenue generator for the family business is drug running for a cartel.
Okay.
And now the cartel's head, played by Edward James, almost appreciated the Jones family, that's the family's name, for their loyalty and their professionalism. Except he dies, putting the Jones family in a difficult situation because I don't know what to call him, the prodigal son or just the greedy son, takes over the business, the cartel. He's led around by the nose by his even greedier mother. At any rate, drugs isn't enough for him. He decides to get into human trafficking, young girls.
Yeah.
And he orders the Jones family to pick their next shipment up, and they think it's drugs. By this time, the daughter is brought in, and she knows what the family business is. It's actually drug running. Her dad has turned her onto it, but they go to pick up their next shipment, and it's a bunch of young Latina women that the cartel plans to traffic in the United States or wherever. The daughter in this case suddenly grows a conscience. And see, this is a problem I have a problem. This is what I have a problem with. She grew a conscience over human trafficking, but she has no problem joining the family business running drugs.
Yeah.
And I could never really wrap my head around that moral jujitsu, if whatever you want to call it. And that's when I checked out. And mind you, there's some decent character development after that, and some great action, and it's like, still.
Yeah.
And I got through 5 episodes, and it's like, okay, I'm good here. Maybe I'll come back to it on a boring summer night. Probably won't. We'll see. But no, I gave that one a C-.
Okay. Well, some options for people here this week. I know next week, realistically, maybe from the box office perspective, the summer movie season will kick off in earnest, I guess you would say, with The Mandalorian and Grogu. Are you planning on seeing that? Are you going to be able to review that next week?
Not in time for this. Disney's pulling a Warner Brothers.
Okay, really?
On that one. And it's like, really?
That's interesting. That's an interesting decision there. I wonder if it's not quite up to snuff, maybe. Then I know, Jon Favreau. I mean, there's a lot to like about it going into it. So
yeah, but for stuff I've read says it's estimates are tracking below Solo.
Yeah.
So maybe
that's not good.
No. So maybe that has something to do with it. I've got tickets to see it next Thursday, the first. And by the way, we got an IMAX screen on the east side of town.
Where at?
Cinemark Valley View converted one of their big theaters to IMAX.
Okay.
So
very cool. Right. Well, now you don't have to drive too far for it, then, huh?
No.
That's good. All right. Well, do you have anything next week to review? Or I know it's kind of a lighter schedule with Star Wars coming out, of course, but anything else coming up on the horizon here for you?
Look for Pressure in a couple weeks. I'll be honest with you, I haven't looked at the streaming calendar yet.
Okay.
Like I said, I've been easing back in from vacation. And I won't pick that up in earnest probably until tomorrow, because we're 2 weeks back from vacation. I figure, well, it's time to step it up.
So a lot to catch up on, yeah. 'Tis the season. Well, if you do have a chance to catch up on something, Hacks is in its final season. I know I've been talking about this show for like 5 years now, but always worth your time if you ever want to get into it. But it's in its final run here, only a couple of episodes left, and it is not disappointing in its final season. So, and also saw Hoppers as well. The wife and I saw Hoppers at the end of last one. Liked it a lot. My wife gave it 4 stars. I gave it 3.5 stars. I really, really enjoyed it. I completely agree. It's a nice return to form along with Elio last year, a good return to form for Pixar with a lot of their original, filmmaking. So really enjoyed Hoppers. So nothing but good things to say about it. It was a very well, as expected, very beautifully animated, but just a well-crafted story. Again, we think the best animation caters to young and old audiences, and it did just that. So really enjoyed Hoppers.
Smart man.
All right. Well, as always, George, we appreciate your time. You can follow George, all of his writing at beaconjournal.com. George, thank you so much for stopping by. We hope you have fun next week among the commoners watching Star Wars.
Had to rub that in, didn't you?
Well, I'm sure you'll be fine. As long as you got your tickets already, you won't have to elbow people out for a good seat.
Well, I got news for you. Judging from that IMAX screen I booked into for the first show on next Thursday.
Really?
I'm going to be one of 10. So we'll see.
Man, wow. Man, that's really... I wonder why it's tracking so low. That doesn't seem to make much sense. I mean, the Mandalorian's a very popular franchise on Disney Plus, so I don't know. Maybe this doesn't have the mass appeal audience
and
that we thought it would.
And the thing is with it's deliberately kid friendly, so it's
okay.
It's a conundrum. I mean, the TV show is kid friendly, so
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's okay. All right. Well, we'll have to see what you think about that after that. But as always, George, thanks for stopping by, and hope you have fun at the movies.
I'm gonna try.